Good morning, everyone. This is Chris with Strength and Steel Reviews, and this is episode 2 of Building the Dream Home Gym, where I install rubber flooring all by my lonesome. I'm going to document all of the mistakes that I will inevitably make, and hopefully a few small triumphs. Whatever does happen, this will be an honest, transparent take on my journey as I attempt to do this myself with very little education. We'll see how it goes. Let's get to the video. Okay, well, before we begin this tedious and lengthy process, a clumsy one too, I should thank you for clicking on the thumbnail because arranging this was a tremendous pain in the butt. Each of these rolls is like 200 pounds. I could not believe Jimmy, the Long Island delivery driver, who does not look like he's worked out a day in his life, how he just lifted these things right off the pallet and plopped them on the garage floor. I gotta be honest, watching him do it and then attempting to do it by myself, well, I felt like a loser. I still do, but hey, that's life. Anyway, today we are going to attempt to install this rubber flooring. Now, I started early because I don't know how long this is going to take because all of the information that I have to go off of is based off of a 5-minute tips and tricks video that I watched yesterday on YouTube. So it could take a while. I'm probably going to make a lot of mistakes, but that's a part of the video. Transparency. You get to join me on this journey. And if you're wondering why I'm wearing a beanie, it's because apparently it gets very cold in Florida sometimes during the winter. For all of you that warned me it would be hot and humid all the time, you lied. I'm just kidding. I know that Florida experiences winters. It's like 35 degrees. I'm gonna be okay. I'm from New Jersey. For any of you that are worried about me, I'm gonna be okay. But before we begin, just for clarification, this is 8mm flecked rubber flooring. I'm going to install it with double-sided tape. I considered using the adhesive, but from what I understand, the double-sided tape allows me to remove the flooring to get beneath it. I don't know how much moisture is going to collect beneath the flooring during the summer months. I have a mini split, but it's not going to be running all the time. So I wanted something that would enable me to occasionally, at least, remove the rubber flooring if I needed to. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. I hope I have enough tape and I hope I have enough flooring. We shall see. And for any of you that are new here, this is episode 2 of me building out a new home gym. I moved from North Carolina to Florida, and now I'm turning this ordinary seeming garage into a decked out home gym. Next, we're gonna do the flooring, and then we're gonna start installing some equipment. We're gonna work on the lighting. We're gonna take it piece by piece. It's going to be an episodic series, so if you want to be involved in this little journey, make sure you subscribe. But okay, enough yapping. I'm gonna go have some coffee with my wife, say good morning to my son, and then begin this process. Let's go. Okay, so it begins. Well, I got over this first roll. I brought it to the corner. I'm trying to set it up so that once I unroll this thing, one end is as close to the wall as possible, because moving this, especially once it's rolled out, is not going to be easy. So I'm gonna take it really slow as I do this, especially the first roll, because I want it really close to the wall. I'm accepting this won't be perfect. We accept imperfection in this household and in all walks of my life. But yeah, I'm gonna grab the tape. I'm gonna take this nice and slow. First time as a floating head, this is thrilling. And I'm wearing a beanie. Hold on, I'll be right back. Now the key here is going to be starting off on the right foot. I'm gonna try to keep this mat as close to the wall as I can so I can just roll it out slowly. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. A phrase I live by. Another phrase I live by, man makes plans and God laughs. And if there was a theme for today, it is simplified into that one beautiful phrase. I was trying to keep it flat against the far wall, but these mats were not exactly evenly cut, and the walls themselves were not exactly evenly constructed, so it proved to be no simple task. I cannot emphasize enough how heavy these rolls are, 200 pounds, and as you roll them out, they're even more difficult to navigate and negotiate, so keep that in mind. So as you can probably see with a little bit of B-roll, the mat is too close to the wall, and that's because this is rolling inward, and I need to keep rolling straight, which is something you should try not to do. So I'm gonna try to even this out, which should be kind of tough with the tape, which is making me wonder if perhaps I should have applied the tape after I rolled this out. I could have just lifted up one end. In fact, that's 100% what I should have done. And that's what I'm gonna do from here on. What does Mike Tyson say? Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. Well, Consider this my punch in the face. And yes, I've been punched in the face. I know what it's like. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna cut the end. I'm gonna try to keep it as flat against the wall as I can. And then once I'm done with that, the opposite side, I'm gonna lay down some tape and I'm gonna try to crunch as much of this side against the wall as I can. Yeah, Silver Sharpies for the win on this one. They show up really nicely on the mat. I would recommend them. If you've got a better idea, do that. So the way I learned how to cut horse stall mats best back home was you round the edge and then you just keep making slices, and then ultimately the cut opens up and you can just kind of tear it. Yeah, it isn't as difficult as you may fear. Just make sure you have fresh blades available because you are going to rocket through them, I promise you. Have plenty extras. Okay, not bad, kind of close. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go up and down, make sure this is as close to the wall as it can possibly get. Then I'm going to apply the tape. Yeah, even if my application of the tape wasn't so great, the tape itself was great. It's called like Meister Elite or something. I'll link it below if you want to check it out, but it worked quite well. And I think I mentioned it later in the video, but I got these mats from Freedom Fitness Equipment, the same company that Gluck got his from. So if you want to check those out, I will link them below too. Okay, so first strip is down. Some of it's leaning against the wall. It's kind of uneven. Once I've got everything down, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna see if I can cut some of it up, and where I can't cut it up, I'm just gonna paint. Let's keep going. Something worth mentioning, definitely clean off your floors before applying the tape and obviously the mats. Use your blower, use something, sweep, whatever. Just get all the dust and debris out of there. So what I'm gonna do for this one is, because it's gonna be much easier to line it up, I'm realizing, I'm actually just gonna roll it down and then line it up, and then I'll tape it. This is gonna be much easier. I should not have said that. I should not have said that. And yet I said it, and I'm sure I'll say it again. Such is my nature. It never hurts to hope, unless you're me. In that case, it tends to hurt at least a little bit. As you'll see later in this video, because I recorded this in the future, I do experience some kind of hurt, and I largely attribute that to my ignorant hope for the day and my own capabilities. Okay, so now let's see if this is as easy to line up as I had hoped it would be. Let's see. This time, it wasn't so bad. I discovered that once I rolled out the flooring, I was able to maneuver it a bit more easily. So I'm about to say, honestly, pretty good. And honestly, I agree. Honestly, pretty good. There are some sections over here that I still need to work on closing completely, but in my experience, you just kind of have to play with it. Finagle, pull, push, and I think for these stubborn endings and sections here, I'm just gonna apply tape and hope for the best. Like I said, I don't need it to be absolutely perfect, but I'm pretty happy with it. I'm pretty happy with it. Just keep playing with it. If you want a professional job, hire a professional. If you want to do it yourself, I think, especially if you're not used to doing this or you haven't done it before, or you're not learning from all of my mistakes and you're going to make all new ones, then you're probably going to have to accept that there will be some imperfections, you know, some uneven cuts, some slight adjustments you have to make later, and I'm okay with that. Just make sure you're also okay with that. For any sections where you're really struggling to connect the mats, because they do seem just generally unevenly cut and you want them really tight, that's where this double-sided tape comes in really useful. You essentially fasten the tape to both rolls. It keeps them tight, it keeps them close. I haven't been using the tape along the entire length of the mat because on my own, it just feels really difficult. If you have somebody to do this with, I really do recommend it, but I'm using it for any sections that seem especially stubborn. So yeah, don't take this tape for granted. It's a really useful tool. What I'm saying there is plant the tape between both strips so you combine them like a bridge. And if you don't have help, seek help. I'm going to say that again in this video. Help would be great. These are heavy mats. The whole process is cumbersome and clumsy without help. Get help. Okay, and so now we're working on this little cutout here. So each roll has been about 4 feet in width. And now this section is about 5.5 feet. So I'm using what was left over of one of the previous rolls. And I'm just gonna squeeze it in here. And back here, there's a section that I don't know how I didn't realize, but it's missing a chunk. That's okay. It's gonna be underneath the desk. I'll probably just use some of this paint to cover it up. first I'll make small incisions from whatever mat is left, but anything missing, I'll just paint. That's okay with me. But here, this section will work. Just gotta line it up and tape it, and then roll, roll, roll. I think I'm gonna have more than I need. Man, did I mention these things were heavy? Dude, they are so heavy. The longer you do it, the heavier they get. That's what she said, he said, somebody said it. Someone said it. Man, remember when I told you guys it was cold this morning? Not to worry about me? Well, it ain't cold anymore, I'll tell you that. I'm gonna be okay. I am gonna be okay. So this tape has been a lifesaver. I'm sure adhesive is the go-to for professional jobs, but if you're an amateur, average Joe like me, who's doing it alone, then this may be the way to go. Yes, average Joes unite. And this tape is indeed great. I applaud it. Just be prepared for how obnoxiously sticky it is. If you're not, it's going to dictate much the rest of your day. It is a useful tool, but it is strong tape. And also, if you're a fan of this floating head, my floating head, then comment below. Also, if you think I'm a fool for using rolled flooring instead of horse stall mats, comment horse stall mats below. Thanks. Oh, what a fail. Okay, so I forgot to account for this little cut in the wall. It's okay. It's okay. I'm just gonna have to cut out a separate little square. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And I behold this, I gaze upon it with appreciation. Adoring eyes, I'm sure, in time. Adoring eyes, you liar. As soon as I finish this project, and I do eventually finish this project, believe it or not, I spent the rest of the afternoon agonizing over these small mistakes that I've made. I cannot emphasize enough, if there's one great tip I can give you, and I'll try to give you 5 at the end of this video, it is to do things slowly. Take your time conducting all of your measurements. And if you have help, ensure that you properly apply the tape in any areas in which you fear there may be a crease. The slower you go, the better your results will ultimately be. Take your time. I would be remiss not to mention how much fun it's been moving all of my equipment over onto the finished mat. It's been great. Really great. Nothing like some extra cardio. I don't know why I haven't taken my sweater off, but I haven't, and I'm almost stubborn enough to keep it on anyway. Who am I defying, you might ask? You might wonder. I couldn't tell you. I'm getting sloppy. I failed to properly document me dragging everything over. Yeah, at this point, I'm hours in. I'll be honest, I'm kind of done with it, but I'm not done with it because I'm still applying the flooring. So I'm forgetting some things and I'm beginning to take some shortcuts. And what does Tolkien say about shortcuts? He says, shortcuts make for long delays. So listen to Tolkien. All right, so it looks pretty good. For once, not that much work to do on this one. Whew, I think I'm gonna go get some lunch. Finish this up in a moment. All right, we're getting there. Don't look at that rep box. You don't know what's in there. Anything could be in there. Anything could be in there. Comment below, what do you think's in there? Comment below. Yes, the great mystery. If you saw the first episode of my Building a Dream Home Gym series, you might have an idea as to what lies within that box. Or it could be misleading you entirely and there's nothing in that box. Or there's another brand of equipment in that box. Or, all things considered, these creases are pretty close. This is not great, but I'm gonna worry about that after. Not right now, but I wanna keep these seams nice and tight, so let's lay some tape down. Yes, tape, tape, tape. Okay, time for me to sit down and express my frustrations. Ready? 1, 2. Oh, man, what a thing. This is tough, I gotta say. If you've got the time and the energy to do it, you could definitely do it, no doubt. But Having help would have been great. Having a friend. I have no friends here in Florida. Well, not many at least. Doing it alone has not been easy. It's not going to be perfect, but that's okay. Man, what an endeavor. This has been taxing. I guess we're on the home stretch. This next section is going to be tricky. But yeah, this is hard. Just keep that in mind. These are hundreds of pounds of mats that you're moving. Definitely learned a lot. But at this point, I've learned the proper way, finally, to set the tape down. And I'm getting better at cutting the mat. I mean, I knew how to cut the mat, but like anything, if you don't do it often, you're out of practice. It could be riding a bike, it could be hitting the bag, or it could be cutting, rolling rubber mats. Doesn't matter. Whatever it is, if you don't do it, you're not as good at doing it as you could be. So something as simple as this, I've improved this whole process as I've gone along. And I'm sure right when I finish and choose not to exercise any of these small skills is when I'll feel best. But that's why there are people that you pay to do this. This is what they do. And they're really good at it because they do it all the time. Anyway, enough of me ruminating and delaying the inevitable. Let's get this thing done. Let's get it done. Okay, now probably the worst section, because I know it's gonna have to happen here and I'm going to hate it. Yes. Each mat is about 4 feet wide. And well, I don't need 4 feet of mat, that's for sure. About 2.5 feet. So I'm gonna have to cut a pretty long length of mat here, which isn't gonna be super fun, but it's gotta get done. All right, so I've decided on a different course. Rather than cut the entire length of the last roll that I have, because I have officially one extra roll, I don't think I'll need it. I'm using the remnants of my previous cuts. Essentially, I have the section and I'm gonna cut it so it's about flush with the garage door. Then I have one other section for the other garage door that I'm gonna cut similarly. And then I'll use whatever is left from those two pieces to fill up these last 2 sections. Hopefully that does the trick. It's gonna save me a lot of energy, so I'm giving it a go. Let's see what happens. Yes, here we have a perfect example of one of those shortcuts that I have mentioned earlier. What I should have done is I should have taken that additional roll and I should have measured out 2.5 feet in width rather than the 4 feet in width that these mats totally are. And I should have cut down the entire length of the garage. That would have left me a nice even cut. I would have really preferred that compared to what I actually end up with, which isn't horrible by any means. It just could have been better. Okay, some tape, and I think that'll be good enough for me over here, for the sake of my sanity. Well, I'm not sure it did anything for my sanity, but it did allow me to finish this job quicker, so there's that. I can't believe we're like almost done. I never thought we'd almost be done. Okay. Again, I shouldn't say that. Some other great complication. Right when that happens, I cut myself with a razor blade. Hilarious. Is it bad? Not bad enough to stop me. That's what happens whenever I say, things are gonna go well, or I hope this happens, or I hope that happens. Something spiteful arises from the universe. It's inevitable. I don't take it personally, but I do acknowledge that it happens. Ugh. All right, well, apparently I need a Band-Aid because we got it going on. All right, I made it. I'm back. Got some blood speckling my white speckled gym flooring. It's kind of cool. Onward. Yes, I guess I'll take some kind of blood on my flooring. I mean, it isn't the blood of an orc or a Uruk-hai or Shelob, but it is some blood. Be careful with these razors. You're gonna go through a lot of them, like I said. And as the day progresses, you get clumsier and those razors stay sharp. So look out for those blades. Be careful. Man, I'll tell you, it's a good thing I don't care about looking like an idiot. Because, man, do I feel like an idiot for so much of this. It's kind of amazing that I am where I am. But yeah, I'm comfortable being the fool. Yes, ever the self-admitting fool. That's me. Socrates says, know thyself, and I do. Thankfully, I have no problem being made a fool, or my life would be even more difficult. I've had another neighbor come by to see what I was up to. Like I said, really friendly neighborhood. Really friendly neighborhood. Friendly indeed. Like I said before, it's a little bit like stepping back in time. Anyway, the camera's about to do a bunch of weird jumpy things as it tries to autofocus. I'm not great with the camera, sorry about that. Also, this is my last floating head, so again, comment below if you want more floating heads. I had fun doing this. Bye. Okay, so I'm probably gonna call it there. There's some work to do. Here's what it looks like. This will be some B-roll that I edit into tomorrow. It looks good. It is not perfect at all, as I said it would not be, and as I've certainly said multiple times throughout this lengthy process, but it's your gym. This is my gym. I'm okay with that. Anyway, I clearly made a number of mistakes today. It's hard to count them all on one hand, but some tips I do have for you. Number one, have plenty of razor blades available. You are going to be mind blown by how many you go through if you're doing this yourself. Number two, if you can find somebody to help you, have them help you. It would have made my life worlds easier. Instead, it was just me. I don't recommend doing it by yourself. I don't. So yeah, look for help if you can find it. Number three, take your time, with help especially, but take your time. Whenever I rushed these cuts or I didn't measure properly, well, there were consequences, understandably. Number four, the double-sided tape. I think is pretty great, but it would have been a lot easier to apply if I had some help with holding up one of the mats so I could slide it between the two mats and cover each transition. As it stands now, I'll probably go back over all of this flooring to make sure it's all nice and tight. And yeah, having some help would have been great there. So definitely get help if you can. But the tape is good. I didn't use the adhesive. It feels like it would have been too permanent, at least for me. But I'd imagine if you have a professional, that's what they are going to use. And tip number 5 that I would have for you. If you can, ensure your garage is totally empty. I did not have that luxury. I would have liked that luxury. I did not have that luxury. We had nowhere to store the rest of our belongings because we just moved into this home. And a lot of it was already in place, stationed in the garage. So I had to keep moving things over from one section to the next. And it was tedious and energy consuming. And you're gonna need all the energy that you can muster for this. So those are 5 tips. Check out Freedom Fitness Equipment, link in the description. They are a great company. It was really nice working with them. And the flooring looks great. Any Mars in the flooring are largely due to myself, and I clearly take responsibility for that. So, all right, that's episode 2 of Building My Dream Home Gym. Next, we're probably going to install our first piece and then begin to review it. Don't look over there. I hope you can't see it. I don't know what frame I've got on the camera right now. What do you think my first piece is going to be? Comment below. What will it be? All right, that's it. You guys stay strong, you stay steely, and we'll catch you in the next one. Adios.